today we're going to talk about off-season shoulder care for softball and baseball. So we have a break in the season, and now it's time to get stronger, to be able to throw harder, to be healthier. So first of all, it's important to just take a break. Take a break from throwing, take a break from pitching. However, when we go back, or if we're doing some weightlifting and some training in the off season, in between throwing, it's important to train correctly. So what we want is shoulder strength, right? I want core strength. I want my body to work the way it's supposed to. And what we need to understand in softball and baseball is your butt muscle or your glute is singly your most important muscle when it comes to throwing. So if we're going to train throwing, we need to train it to come from your hip first. So if we look at traditional strengthening exercise for ball, softball, baseball, we talk about I's, T's, and Y's, right? When people come out and do their bands, we have these series of exercises we do with their bands. There's a way we can be doing that better. I want your hip to load every single shoulder function. So when I'm gonna throw the ball, when I'm gonna pitch the ball, what should happen is that arm reach or that arm load starts hip, fires to fire shoulder blade to then support rotator cuff. I can do it independently in that my arm does all the work, and that ends up in a labral tear, that ends up in decreased speed, that ends up in decreased accuracy. If we want to be powerful, if we want to be healthy, if we want to be awesome, everything has got to come through my hip. So when we train, when we warm up, it needs to come through my hip. So we can do that in our traditional I's, T's, and Y's, if you like that sort of thing, and add my hip to it. So I'm gonna load bungee cord, TheraBand, you name it, for resistance. I'm gonna load through my hip, so drop down into my butt, drive up for an I, come back, drive up, come back, drive up, come back. So I'm teaching hip to load shoulder blade to load shoulder. That series is super important in you being awesome. What you need to be careful of in this exercise is, first of all, as you come up, it doesn't bother your low back. Okay, because at the point where you get here and your belly muscle can't support that anymore, we're gonna get a little more hinge in your back. The other thing we need to be really, really careful of in throwing sports is too much upper trap. So as my shoulder fatigues, or if the weight is too much, my upper trap muscle will try to help. When it helps, it gets tight. When it gets tight, bad things happen in my shoulder. It changes the position of my shoulder blade, which can affect my arm slot and throwing. It also severely limits my head rotation if this is tight, which is gonna limit your ability to pitch and throw because it'll change your arm slot as well. So as I'm doing that, I can go 10 reps, 12 reps, 15 reps, whatever, but this can't get tired, burny, tight. If you get to 7 and you start to feel this, we have to stop and move on to a different exercise, because I don't want this to get overactive, tight, and then actually your workout is limiting you. If we look at T, same thing. I can drop into my hip, drive out of my butt, and pull out to the side. Drop into my butt, pull out to the side here. Same thing with a Y. Pull at a diagonal, come down, pull at a diagonal. If you want to make those exercises even better and more functional for baseball and softball, I bring the resistance to the side, because now if I do my T or my Y, and my resistance is this way, and I drop into that butt, now I'm strengthening that rotational glute muscle that, guess what, loads me to throw, loads me to hit, and gives me all my power. So now I drop into this hip, come across my body, and come out and over, drop into this hip, come across my body. Same thing for a Y. I can come here, be careful you don't hit yourself in the face, drop, come here. That is tremendous hip and belly strengthening for you for your sport. I picked my knees because when I'm on my knees for this, I get a better hip load and it goes through my hips more naturally. Once we move to standing, now my knee can help, my ankle can help, your body can compensate a lot more. So really, if I'm doing shoulder strengthening, especially in the off season, or I want to warm you up and really get your core engaged, anything we're going to do on our knees is going to make a really big difference. If you don't have a bungee and instead you want to do the same thing, this is a Versabell. You can use a kettlebell, you can use a dumbbell. Same thing. I can drop back, reach up, drop back, reach up. I can drop over, reach out, over, reach out. Every shoulder exercise you do, if you want that shoulder exercise to be the best it can possibly be for you in the off season, needs to go through your hips first. So if you have any questions about how to exercise those, drop us a message and let us know. We'll help you out.